We're tackling something today I think a lot of us struggle with. Creating compelling content when you're juggling a million other things for your nonprofit.
Yeah, it never ends, right?
Never. Today we're looking at whether AI can help lighten that load. And we're not talking just any AI, but a platform built specifically for nonprofits.
Right.
CauseWriter.ai.
Interesting.
We actually got our hands on their 2024 brochure, and they're making a pretty bold claim. They say they can help you conquer what they call the first draft time trouble.
The what?
Yeah, first draft time trouble. We'll unpack that metaphor a little bit later. But basically, it's about how even those tiny little writing delays can snowball into, missed deadlines, missed opportunities, and a whole lot of stress.
And that's a really key point because I think it highlights why those generic AI writing tools often miss the mark for nonprofits. It's not just about spitting out words,
right?
It's about understanding the nuances of your organization, the tone, the goals, who you're actually trying to reach.
Your audience.
Exactly.
And it seems like CauseWriter.ai gets that. They really emphasize that their platform learns your organization's unique style, their tone, and even draws on your existing data. It's like having an AI assistant who already did all their research on your nonprofit before they even started working with you.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
And it really addresses a big concern people have with these generic tools. They often sound, generic.
Right.
And CauseWriter.ai seems to be positioning themselves as that more tailored, specific solution.
They say they can help you conquer what they call the first draft time trouble.
The what?
Yeah, first draft time trouble. I have to admit, I chuckled when I first read that in their blog post. It's a pretty clever way to describe something I think a lot of us nonprofit professionals really struggle with. That procrastination, those little writing delays that just seem to multiply like crazy.
Yeah, it's like those Tribbles on Star Trek. They look all cute and fuzzy at first, but then they just take over everything.
Exactly.
And those little delays that seem so insignificant in the moment can suddenly turn into a huge problem. Think about all those little tasks we push aside.
Oh, tell me about it.
The thank you notes to donors, the grant proposal drafts, even social media posts.
Ugh, yes.
All of that gets put on the back burner.
You know that feeling when you're staring at a blank screen, cursor blinking, and suddenly reorganizing your desk seems like the most productive thing you could possibly be doing?
Oh, I've been there.
We've all been there.
Yeah, and the thing is, those delays, they have a ripple effect.
And it's like all those little things just pile up and suddenly you're drowning.
Exactly. Drowning in content.
So how does CauseWriter.ai actually help with this? What do they do?
Well, their brochure goes into a bunch of features they have, all to try to make content creation easier, especially those first drafts. Those are always the worst.
Yeah, the worst. I did notice they talk a lot about customization. Like they really highlight these content processors, basically, AI models that are already trained up for specific things you need to write. Grant proposals, social media posts, even website copy.
Right. And what's really cool is they're not just using one generic AI model for everything. They actually bring in the big guns. They've got OpenAI's GPT-4 in there, Anthropic's Claude models, even Google's Gemini Pro.
So it's like having a whole team of AI specialists working for you.
That's the idea, yeah. And by combining all of them, it's supposed to give you that nuanced, really adaptable solution, no matter what you're writing.
If CauseWriter.ai can free up your staff time by taking over some of those tedious writing tasks, think of what your team could accomplish.
Seriously. Imagine your development director actually having time to build relationships with funders, or your program staff sharing all those amazing impact stories they have instead of being stuck writing reports.
Right. It all goes back to taming that content monster, those pesky time tribbles, whatever you want to call them, that just eat up time and energy.
Ugh, the worst.
But while this all sounds amazing so far, we do need to talk about the elephant in the room, which is data privacy. That's a big one for nonprofits, right? You're dealing with donor information, personal stories, all kinds of sensitive stuff. You don't want that just floating around out there.
No, absolutely not. And that's something I was really glad to see that they address head on in the brochure. Data security, ethical use, it's all right there.
And that's kind of the gold standard, especially for organizations working internationally.
Yeah, for sure. And it's more than just checking a box for them. They're very clear that any data used to train their AI is anonymized. So no worries about accidentally seeing someone's donation history in a sample grant proposal, especially for nonprofits. Trust is everything. And that includes how they use technology.
Big time. So, to kind of wrap things up here, it sounds like CauseWriter.ai could be a really valuable tool for nonprofits, especially those who feel like they're drowning in content demands.
I think so. It definitely has potential, but like with any tool, and especially with AI, you got to be thoughtful, you got to be strategic.
Right? Don't just jump in because it's trendy.
Exactly.
Really think about your needs, what you want to get out of it. And of course, those ethical considerations are still key.
Yeah, at the end of the day, AI should be there to support you, to help you do more, but not to replace that human element. That's what makes the nonprofit sector so special.
Perfectly said. So if you're feeling overwhelmed by content, maybe take a look at CauseWriter.ai, see if it might be a good fit. But remember, even with the coolest tech, it's still your passion, your creativity, that's going to make the real difference.
How's it going? My name is George. I'm a real human. Those were actually AI voices, and I think that's important to note. I am one of the folks over at Whole Whale and at CauseWriter helping to build these custom AI solutions for nonprofit teams. And it started actually with us building this for our own agency. We realized that the power of customization, of building for the right process, putting in the exact types of high-powered AIs on the back end with our types of prompts, our types of data, and the security of knowing that our client data wasn't just being sold up the river to some LLM, were all important factors. And we've expanded it to clients, and now we've expanded it to a wider audience. So I hope that you check it out at CauseWriter.ai.